This was the door that would lead to the set of 2 open doors and where Stanley entered the door to his left. Right? Am I gaslighting myself now? What is going on? Why? This game is just weird at times. Definitely weird.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Just a small little change like that, throwing you off completely. It has no meaning whatsoever beyond that. It's just just weird. Either way, I think we took every possible option that we had on the right path, which means if my memory and possible calculations here are correct, 2 more endings remain. Which one do we take first? Well, I think let's go down.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Why are the boards gone? You're letting me in again!
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
But I like the broom closet. You're letting me... Okay, you know what? Don't celebrate...
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an empty broom closet.
Indeed.
No reason to still be here.
Exactly. You gave me a glimpse of the broom closet again, and that I appreciate. You can't have too much of a good thing either. Anyway...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
But I need to go to my car first. I think we have a car, right? Probably, possibly. And it's down in the garage. Maybe all the cars are still there. And we can see that people just left. We are actually working on a Saturday or a Sunday. And, well, nothing interesting is going on. We are just inside of our office at the wrong point in time. See, our car is here.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that.
Then what about all our co-workers?
Why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy.
Yeah.
And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Possibly.
All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense.
Yeah, that would indeed be crazy.
And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations.
Like?
For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating?
Definitely.
No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue.
We're dreaming.
Found the words for it.
We're dreaming.
I'm dreaming!
Yep.
He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer.
Creepy dream, though.
His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
I mean, it is pretty terrifying.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
This is gonna implode, isn't it?
He thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams. The truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be?
It's a
Was
nightmare.
Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that?
Magic.
This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
Well, if it's lucid
He
dreaming...
closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back,
Comfortable.
the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
But that was a lie.
Stanley began screaming.
Ah!
Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please,
Why
just
is it
someone
turning
tell
red?
me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?
I've got a feeling we're gonna die.
And everything went black.
Yes. That is definitely too much stress.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Okay.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
You better call an ambulance or something. And also, let this be a sign. Take occasional breaks, because apparently and clearly your body and mind needs them. Otherwise you'll be stuck in a perpetual hellscape. With no co-workers, no boss, and just a crazy guy talking into your ear. What more could you possibly want? Anyway, with our demise, again, now out of the way, I think one more ending remains. So, after all of this madness, before we completely break the bloody fourth wall with a bloody door that says new content, it is time to escape.
When Stanley, it was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Well, after all that we have learned, after learning
Stanley
that we
walked straight
are
ahead through the large
stuck
door
in that
read
constant loop,
Mind Control Facility.
there's only one way forward, and that be to escape. I mean, how hard can
Although
it be?
this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Wouldn't be the first time. I mean, violent is a different case. We haven't died violently. I mean, we fell down and died. We
The door behind him was not shut.
Fell down and
Stanley
died.
still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
We've got a history with falling down and dying. But not violently, that's the point.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward.
Indeed.
And willingly confront his death.
Well, now I'm curious what the violent death is. I think I remember what the violent death is. Yeah, okay, that truly classifies as violence. At least we don't die by falling. This time. But it definitely is a violent death.
Motion, and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise. He reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man.
What?
And so
that's still a great loss.
And willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Why is this machine here even in the first place? Honestly?
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
But why? Who built this, and why? Well, whoever you are, mystery person, thank you very much for saving me. At least, temporarily.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Creating an eternal hellscape for whoever we are? Surely, the narrator is just a god, and we have truly hurt his feelings at some point in the past, and that's why we are in this parable.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Probably, yeah. Oh, I remember this one. Just lovely. The office layout. This blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the two doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development, though the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. Which is just wonderful. Which makes me wonder, the two windows and the ending that's right over here, was that also originally part of the original iteration? I mean, it's brilliant. Stanley's computer. Can we push buttons? I mean, we can always push buttons, but all the lovely nature paintings. The painting our boss gave us, or our co-workers gave us. Yeah, it was our co-workers, absolutely. The corridor. The pacing of this opening section was important to get right. This corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches the two doors in a good time. Yeah, you don't want to have that choice be too early or too late, just enough to let you explore just a little bit and notice the weirdness of the empty office and... What about you? The two doors. The set of two open doors was the very first concrete piece of Stanley Parable design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it, an exploration of the contradiction this room posed. And it remains the best choice out there. Though you never have the choice to go back. Just... This entire room in general, or this ending, just... a massive museum, credits on the wall. Fun sounds. A selection of sounds used throughout this game when buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of a keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone. Lovely indeed. And they're all different too. Well, you aren't. You are different. Why do you change, but you don't? Clearly no one likes the number 5. 4 is better. And just office computers, that's fine. All the lovely people working on this game. Good job, everyone. Absolutely good job. Again, the Stanley Parable is an awesome game, and we still haven't really touched the new content. We experienced one thing that was completely new, one thing that was altered, but maintenance room, an early version of the maintenance room. Definitely early because it still has the texture thingies going on. Was that actually used in development as a result? Like, we got the ending with all the orange panels or whatnot because the game was unfinished, the behind the scenes stuff, but I know nothing about game development, but now I'm curious about whether or not those panels with the words like this is gonna be that and whatnot, if that's actually used. I don't know. Anyway, what else have we got here? Apparently we have fun. We have money? Where's the money ending? I want the money ending. Swimming in money, everything will be fine. Is that a YouTube video? That is a YouTube video. Oh, ooh, Aha! Ultra Deluxe announcements. In December 2018, we announced the Ultra Deluxe version of the Stanley Parable at the Game Awards. These are screenshots of the videos we made for the announcement and the game's delay. I honestly didn't even know there were announcements like that. Must have missed them. Either way, that's cool. But where's the money ending? Warzone. Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some people interpreted it as us making fun of people who liked shooters, which was not our intention. Well, that's fair. Could have been fun, though. Alien base. Awesome. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Let's see. The office. The lounge. An early version of the lounge. Well, it has improved a lot since then, for sure. From Forrest Gainus to Dinerator. Will the Stanley Parable have infinite quests? How many endings? Some questions. How do you make a JRPG? How do you make the worst game ever? What's the difference between a duck and what? How is the game going? Oh, it's going good or better than the first one. From a cool man. Nice. Is that real stuff? Narrator emails. Are you a rock? Probably asking the wrong question. After the second trailer we sent out, we asked people to email the narrator for questions. Well, we had initially planned to use these further promotional materials. We never found the perfect use for them. There are a selection of those emails. That's nice. Well, the thing I want to know is, what would you do if Stanley entered any other rooms? Good question. I have a burning question. For instance, on a scale of Max Ernst to Salvador Dali, how surreal will this game be? Were you born with a magnificent voice, or did you bargain with a magician? Definitely a lot of good questions. Okay, what else have we got? What? Okay, that sounded terrifying for a moment. Wait, apartment timer? In the previous version of the choice leading to the apartment ending, a timer would give you 15 seconds to pick up the phone. Not picking up the phone would lead to a different ending. Well, unplugging the phone is a lot more fun, so good job. Now you have to actively make the choice to deviate from that path. The cargo lift. The second version is functionally the same as what's in the final game, but we wanted it to look more like a place where cargo was actually stored. Yep. Well, again, good changes made. The cargo lift was always intended to offer the choice of staying on or jumping to a different path. However, after this early version, we decided we also wanted the option of the player falling to their death, because that's a lot more fun. Dear, oh dear. The game's now paused. Yeah, okay, that's awesome. Escape menu. For a long time, we had an ending that only ended when the player restarted from the escape menu. Unfortunately, very few people realized this was what they were supposed to do, which was frustrating for everyone. Well, there are some endings where you have to restart and thus escape, like the button hell. Button? Why can't I press that button? What is this? Zending model. The Zending went through many iterations. This room represents the 4th version of the ending, and we thought it was complete, but decided to abandon and change it again shortly before launch. What is Zending? No clue. This screenshot depicts an early version of the ending known as the Zending, which was eventually cut and merged with another part of the game. Okay. Really looks a lot like Portal at times. And there was a Portal reference in the original game. Like, when we went to the Firewatch world, and then afterwards Rocket League, originally that was Minecraft, and then Portal. Ooh. Zending levers. These levers were originally a part of the Zending. The player would pull a lever, and the narrator would describe what color they had pulled. Then why can't I pull them now? I want to pull the green one. The Stanley Parable? Trailers. We ran 4 major teaser trailers over the course of the game's development, each meant to convey something about the spirit of the game. This is the first one, released in May 2012. God, that's such a long time ago. It features a series of broken rooms and the voice of the narrator informing viewers that he is preparing a new version of the Stanley Parable. Interesting. Huh. I like this ending, just showing all of this development stuff. It's fun. Meeting room. Yeah, just the idea of having to paint all of these different possible options out. It's a lot. Disobeyed in the lounge, maintenance. The doorway to the maintenance in the lounge and the original back on track. Just the other entrance will be hidden depending on how you enter it. Okay, to the confusion ending. Also, is there a vent? What about this? I guess that didn't happen. The flow of hallways following the first 2 doors was important to get right, since players will replay them so many times. We discussed a number of designs, but ultimately it was the simplest version that won out. So, no vent, just normal, easy and simple. If it works, option 1 works. And we're back here. I am losing track of where I have gone and haven't gone, or where I still want to go. And was this leading anywhere? Yep, we haven't gone here. Countdown desk? One of the desks from an early version of the countdown ending. Ooh, nice. Well, now we have a whole lot more buttons in the countdown ending. And it is amazing. The monitor room elevator. For a time, the elevator in the monitor room could go up or down, with freedom above and countdown below. We abandoned this when players found it too difficult to remember what was up and what was down, and placed the 2 endings together instead. Well, definitely works. Countdown room, early version of the countdown room. Well, that looks cool too. The way it looks now is also pretty awesome, but we don't want to go to the exit just yet. There's a lot more to see, right? Game design mockup. This is the level that William, the level designer, sent Davey, the writer, as a kind of audition piece. The strength of this level got William hired to design the full game. Though much of the environment has changed, the basic layout from this mockup is still in the game. Just again, the Stanley Parable could theoretically serve brilliantly as just the horror game at times. All the different Stanley possible offices. From left to right, the evolution of Stanley's office over time. The first was created in November 2011, second in March 2012, and the third in February 2013. the painting works miracles. And of course a few boxes here and there. Yeah, nice. Okay, so that's all that stuff that we have seen. The lounge. There's not a lot remaining now anymore in the museum. But again, nice to just wander through here and just explore. See what has been made over time. The Freedom Ending. This was the very first incarnation of the Freedom Ending in the game's alpha. Well, I don't know how much it changed from the past. How did we get there? I don't know how much the Freedom Ending changed, or how much any of these endings in design changed between the original Stanley Parable and the Ultra Deluxe version, but whatever the case may be, everything looks brilliant. The boss's office, screened from the development of the boss's office. Again, with that stuff. So I'm guessing that is true, that is how this game was created, with those panels. Lovely. And this goes right back towards the credits down here. That only leaves this wing of the museum. The lounge. The lounge. Did I just hear something?
Stanley pushed the big red button.
There's a big red button. I'm coming. Don't worry. Underground. An early version of the underground portion of the game. With escape. Now it works better. Now it's like, oh, someone is sending a sign. And it's not official.
When he came to the lift, he traveled upward to the power source at the top of the facility to end this injustice forever.
Ooh. Narration outtakes. Kevin Brighting, the voice of the narrator, recorded dialogue for the entire game roughly 3 separate times over the 2 years of development. These are clips from early takes that were not used in the final game.
Now look closely, Stanley. See how it's impossible for the player to do anything in this room? Perfect example of poor level design, textbook mistake. It's the kind of thing you'd pick up on intuitively if you had even the most fundamental understanding of good and bad game design. But of course, you being you, you'll probably spend the next hour trying to solve it. Here, I'm just going to make this easy on you.
That is just awesome. This game, if there was a different narrator, different voice, it probably would have worked too. But this specific narrator,
I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it
Kevin
really
Brighting.
paid off, so good job.
it just fits so bloody well. The accents, the snarkiness at times. It's the Stanley Parable would not have been the same without the voice of the narrator. And it's honestly a joy to listen to. And I'm really curious what new content still awaits. I want to explore that door. I don't know how much of the game still remains at this point in time. This is the Freedom Ending as it exists in beta. Looks lovely. But no, I don't know how much actually got added to the game. Maybe this...
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Maybe there's only one ending after this, I don't know. So maybe this Let's Play ends in one episode or something, but... I've been enjoying it, all this time at least. So, let's slowly work our way towards the new content. Even if that means we're gonna have to switch everything off. Yoink. I was asking for a lever to pull, so... I guess I got what I asked for. But it's not green. But you can't have anything that you want.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game.
There is no beating this game.
As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice.
I choose...
Choose it. Don't let time choose for you.
To let time choose. That is a choice as well. Right? And thus our choice to remain in the game leads us directly to new content. At
All of
least,
his co-workers were gone.
that's the
What could
plan.
it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Nope. Because I really think, I went through it all in my head. I think we picked every possible option that we could take. Maybe I still missed some stuff. Like there was some business related to the console, but none of that was ending related. Just small, slight little gags and whatnot. But no. I think we're done with the base game. Which means it has been a great amount of fun. But curiosity strikes. What new content does the deluxe edition truly offer?
New content?
Apparently.
What does that mean, new content?
Well, you should know. Hold on. Is there... This originally was door 416. It was an office, but we never could see the inside of the office. I call shenanigans. I definitely call shenanigans if 416 is right here. What new content have we got? Where are we going?
And there we go, into the unknown, in search of more new content. Whatever it'll be, it's gonna have to live up to the original Stanley Parable, which is not an easy job. Let's hope that Ultra Deluxe will pull it off.